So a few days ago, Patrick Klepek on Kotaku broke a story that Sony is reportedly briefing developers on something dubbed the PlayStation 4.5. Rather than be a full generational upgrade like the PlayStation 5 would be, this PlayStation 4.5 would be a smaller half-step. And there were rumors going around a few months ago that Microsoft was considering something similar for their Xbox One console. Both manufacturers clearly want to avoid the 8-year lifespan we had last generation, and the idea is to move closer to an iPhone-like release schedule, where new hardware drops every 2 to 3 years. And instead of huge generational leaps in technology, improvements would be more iterative, with smaller incremental boosts in horsepower. The prevailing defense of this concept is that it would actually drive prices down for last year's model of the console. Rather than spend $400 or $500 on the latest and greatest, those of us on a tight budget can pick up an older version used for half that price. And this is actually a really good thing. Trust us! I don't trust you. How quickly we forget what was going to happen to the used games market. Just 3 short years ago, Microsoft was ready to commit financial suicide by outright blocking users from being able to play any used games on the Xbox One. Now that didn't end up happening because the vast majority communicated to Microsoft what a bad idea that was. But with the proliferation of things like the Season Pass, it's clear that there is still a great deal of tension between certain corporations within the game industry and the used games market. GameStop, for example, just enacted a plan that blocks the sale of bundled-in download codes, because those aren't physical games that can be resold in their stores. The used games war is still waging, even if it's doing so silently. With the iPhone, Apple will frequently push you in subtle ways to upgrade to their newest hardware. They'll release updates that causes the operating system to slow down, apps will stop responding or even crash outright, and the best way to fix that is to spend money on whatever the latest piece of kit is. And Apple has cultivated the idea that having the latest and greatest will make you cool, hip, and trendy. With a large portion of the game industry so ready to demonize the second-hand market, why would you think, even for a moment, that incremental upgrades would be safe from this? Imagine a scenario where Halo 6 comes out, and it is targeted to launch with the newer, more powerful Xbox One. You can bet that it'll exist to sell you on why you need the newest hardware. I'm sure it'll be technically functional on the older model of Xbox One, but just like with trying to use an older model of the iPhone, you'll be faced with a number of problems intentionally built in to make you want to buy the newest thing. And we already have a pretty clear example of this, as Nintendo released the new Nintendo 3DS a little over a year ago. Trying to play newer games on the older hardware like Smash Bros. Or Monster Hunter or Hyrule Warriors makes you sit through absurdly long loading times and feature reduced effects and stuttering frame rates. Only by spending another $200 on a totally new system can you get the real, true, intended experience. Which is to say nothing of games like Xenoblade Chronicles, which won't even work on the old system at all. Now imagine this blown out to an even grander scale, as desperate companies like Microsoft want to squeeze you for every penny you're good for. Oh, what's that? Scalebound isn't performing well on your 2-year-old Xbox One? The Last Guardian, despite looking like a PlayStation 3 game, is having trouble running on the original PlayStation 4? Well, for as little as an extra $400, you can get with the cool kids and enjoy it the way it was meant to be played. Throw that old piece of junk in the garbage where nobody ever has to look at it, or think about it, or use it ever again. And PC users aren't safe either. With so many games coming to both consoles and PC in the last generation, you didn't actually need the latest and hottest PC hardware in order to play most of the games that were coming out. Because most of them were targeted to run on something like an Xbox 360. But if we're going to be getting new console hardware every 3 years, there's going to be an increased pressure for your PC to keep pace. Nobody is getting out of this scenario without having to spend a lot more money. And I don't know about you, but I don't like spending money. I grew up poor and I continue to be poor. I mean, to put it in perspective, I still use a flip phone from 2009. Nothing about any of this iterative console hardware stuff sounds like it is good for guys like me. It is positioned so that companies like Sony and Microsoft can cash in on early adopters who have more money than sense. Instead of hitting these guys up for $600 every 8 years, they want to hit them up for $400 every 3 years, just like Apple does with the iPhone. Arguably, we don't know much more than the Kotaku article states. We don't know what form this upgrade will even take, if it's something that you have to plug into your existing system, or if it'll be something entirely new altogether, or whether there will be a trade-in program, or even what the price is, period. But honestly, the end point in all this is that it doesn't matter if you or I can afford it, because we're probably not the target market for this decision. And that kinda sucks. So hey, thanks for watching that weird little rant. I'm trying something new, just to see how it goes. Maybe I could do little rant videos or something, I don't know. If you really like the video, consider subscribing if you already haven't. You can stalk me on social media if that sounds cool to you. Just check out the URLs below. And if you're really liking what I do, there's always Patreon if you want to support me. A lot of cool people have supported me already, and you could be one of them. So give that a look if it sounds interesting to you. I do a lot more than just that stuff. If you poke around on like my Tumblr or anything, you'll find links to all kinds of different things I do. You can also ask me questions there, a lot of people do. But yeah, I'm trying to keep these end of video things short, so thanks for watching, and thanks to all my Patreon supporters. This is normally where I'd list them all off, but I don't actually have their names in front of me this time, which I should probably do that. But like I said, this is a test video. If this becomes a more common thing, I'll do that. Because that's like an obligation or whatever. But whatever. I said I was going to keep this short, and now it's going really long, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you when I see you.